Look, I said what I said, which is that we do have, of course, a special relationship with our friends in the UK and also with some of our European allies, but we also know that there have been infringements on free speech that actually affect not just the British. Of course, what the British do in their own country is up to them, but also affect American technology companies and by extension American citizens. So that is something that we'll talk about today at lunch.
We've had free speech for a very, very long time in the United Kingdom, and it will last for a very, very long time. Well, no, I mean, certainly we wouldn't want to reach across US citizens, and we don't, and that's absolutely right. But in relation to free speech in the UK, I'm very proud of our history there.
Starmer on the defensive as JD Vance confronts him over free speech clampdowns at the Munich Security Conference, US. Senator JD Vance took on Labour leader Keir Starmer to task over Britain's tightening grip on free speech, warning of its chilling effect on American tech companies and individual liberties. In a tense exchange, Vance pressed Starmer on the consequences of escalating censorship, arguing that restrictive policies in the UK could set a dangerous precedent for Silicon Valley and beyond. His pointed remarks exposed a growing rift between us and UK perspectives on digital rights as concerns mount over government overreach in online discourse. Tensions flared in the Oval Office as UK Labour leader Keir Starmer fired back at us, Vice President JD Vance's criticism of Britain's approach to free speech. During a press square, Vance doubled down on his earlier remarks from the Munich Security Conference, arguing that free expression is in retreat across the UK and Europe, with direct implications for American tech companies and citizens. Addressing recent controversies, including the conviction of a British veteran for silently praying outside an abortion clinic, Vance suggested that religious freedoms and broader democratic values were under threat in the UK. What the British do in their own country is up to them, he acknowledged. But these infringements also affect American technology companies and, by extension, American citizens. Starmer, visibly irritated, pushed back against the accusation, asserting Britain's long-standing commitment to free expression. We've had free speech for a very, very long time in the United Kingdom, and it will last for a very, very long time, he insisted. He also rejected any suggestion that the UK was imposing on American citizens' rights, emphasizing that Britain maintains its own democratic traditions. Vance's pointed remarks marked the latest in a growing transatlantic rift over digital rights and government regulation of speech, with the Vice President warning that the UK's trajectory could set a troubling precedent for its allies. His comments echoed earlier criticisms that European nations are shifting away from core democratic principles, particularly regarding religious freedoms and online expression. The confrontation underscores deepening ideological divides between the US and its allies on fundamental liberties, with the debate over free speech likely to remain a flashpoint in international relations. In a major boost for us, UK economic ties, President Donald Trump has confirmed that a long-anticipated free trade agreement between the two nations will be finalized very quickly. Speaking alongside Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer at a joint White House press conference, Trump emphasized his administration's commitment to forging a deal that benefits both economies. "We're going to have a great trade agreement, one way or another," Trump declared. "We're going to end up with a very good trade agreement for both countries, and we are working on that as we speak." He added that negotiations were already progressing and that an agreement could be reached very shortly. A UK-US trade pact was once touted as a key post-Brexit prize, but talks stalled under President Joe Biden's administration. Now, Trump's comments signal a renewed push to solidify economic ties, with the president suggesting that tariffs on UK imports could be avoided through a comprehensive deal. "I think there's a very good chance that in the case of these two great friendly countries, we could end up with a real trade deal where tariffs wouldn't be necessary," he noted. Prime Minister Starmer confirmed that discussions on a new economic framework were underway, with a particular focus on technology and artificial intelligence. "Instead of over-regulating these new technologies, we're seizing the opportunities they offer," he said, announcing plans to begin work on an advanced technology-centered economic deal. Starmer framed AI as a potential game changer. "Artificial intelligence could cure cancer. That could be a moonshot for our age, and that's how we'll keep delivering for our people." Opening the press conference in the White House's East Room, Trump praised Starmer as a tough negotiator and reiterated the enduring strength of the US-UK alliance. "The US and UK have a special relationship, very special really, like no other, passed down through the centuries, and we're going to keep it that way," he stated. The symbolism of the meeting was underscored by Trump's decision to return the bust of Winston Churchill to the Oval Office, a gesture likely to resonate with those championing the deep historical ties between the two nations. As both leaders navigate the path forward, the prospect of a landmark trade deal appears to be back on the table, marking a significant shift in transatlantic economic diplomacy. Reform imp blasts Trump over Chagos deal. Rotten to the core. Tensions erupted over the UK's controversial Chagos Islands deal as Reform imp Rupert Lowe lashed out at Donald Trump, accusing the US president of backing a rotten to the core agreement that betrays British interests. Trump signaled his support for Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer's plan to hand sovereignty of the Indian Ocean archipelago to Mauritius during an Oval Office meeting, despite fierce opposition from his own allies, including Reform UK leader Nigel Farage. Lowe, the MP for Great Yarmouth, took to X, formerly Twitter, to denounce the move, warning that Trump was wrong to endorse the deal. The Chagos Islands deal is disgustingly rotten to the core. It does not serve the British taxpayer. It's about human rights lawyers abusing their power to indulge their fantasies, Lowe fumed. It's a betrayal. I hope that Donald Trump reconsiders his support for it. The heart of the controversy is a plan for the UK to relinquish sovereignty over the islands while maintaining a long-term lease on the key military base at Diego Garcia, an arrangement critics argue would come at the British taxpayers' expense. Trump, however, appeared unfazed by concerns, telling reporters, "We're going to have some discussions about that very soon, and I have a feeling it's going to work out very well. They're talking about a very long-term, powerful lease. A very strong lease. A very strong lease. A very strong lease, actually," he added. "That's a long time, and I think we'll be inclined to go along with your country. The UK is set to lease Diego Garcia for 99 years, with an option to extend for a further 40 years. A move that has sparked outrage among both Reform UK and Conservative MEM. While Britain has offered Trump an effective veto over the deal due to its security implications for the US, some of his closest allies remain deeply critical. With Reform UK positioning itself as the voice of British sovereignty, the backlash against the Chagos Agreement is unlikely to subside, especially as Starmer and Trump edge closer to formalizing a plan that many on the right see as a diplomatic surrender. Thanks for watching. Stay connected. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with our latest videos and stay ahead of the curve on the issues shaping our world. For even more, join our free Telegram group, link in the description, for uncensored, no-holds-barred discussions on the topics that matter most. Be part of the conversation. Your voice counts.